it's interesting because I had been programming my whole life. I started when I was 15. I'm 39 now. My my grandmother gave me an old Apple IIe, and it had a basic interpreter, and I just somehow learned to program it. Honestly, I thinking back now, I'm not sure how I knew what to do. I just kind of made it work slowly. I didn't even have a disk drive, so I wrote out all of my basic programs on a legal pad, like a big yellow pad, which meant every time I turned the computer off, I'd have to type in my programs again. Looking back now, I mean, you just think like, oh, there was a better way. Why didn't I do it? But you did what you did, and you didn't really know back then.
Oh, there you are.
Oh yeah, there's my back right there. So I'm talking to Eka from Uber Entertainment. That guy made a plane where you could shrink and grow and grab planes out of the sky. It was pretty cool. I guess they're working on a game that's going to come out.
Did you try Aaron Lemke's thing, the snake thing they made?
I have a copy of it. I didn't get a chance to try it while they were working on it, but I know Aaron pretty well. I'm looking forward to trying that one for sure.
Yeah, I saw the video they
3D
made. It
snake.
looked pretty sweet. Yeah.
But I went primarily for the talks. I wanted to see what people were up to. I wanted to see some of the thinking. I think the thinking is still kind of where it's. I think the thinking is still kind of where it's at right now. I just totally let my finger off the button. I wanted to hear what people are talking about. And check out.
What do you mean by that? The thinking is where it is right now.
Well, I don't think we're there hardware-wise. I mean, we still got a long ways to go, I guess, hardware-wise. So the thoughts on it are the driving motivation. There's not sales driving it. There's not differentiation in models. I mean, there is, but there's a lot of similarities across the board. So I think once we have more players in the field and once we have more product and the dollar is driving production a little bit more, until then, I think the thinking is the main motivation and the main driving force. And what's really cool is to see how widespread it is and kind of how all over the place the VR landscape is. We are working on a large-scale project. Unfortunately, I can't really reveal any details right now. This is one of those areas that we've got a big showpiece that we're going to do probably early next year. So we're ramping up for it now. It takes months and months and months, but this is one of the reasons that we're hiring out right now and trying to build up our team. We're projecting needing 20 people on this project here in the next few months, just based on number of projections that we're doing. We've seen the bar. The high bar for us is the Portal demo, the robot repair demo that Valve did in Source 2. The Unity stuff is great, but the Portal stuff, the Source 2 stuff, is just that much nicer. The quality level, the attention to detail is incredible. So watch this space, as they say. We've got something really big coming, and that's part of why we're growing and doing what we're doing. I can't really reveal any details further than that. In fact, that might be too much. I'll have to kill all of you. Oh man, that one was so cool. That was it's so great to see it again. I wanted to stay in that world forever. Part of the fun thing about the access that I have to Valve, I basically get to go and have it sit over there and work with them. They keep a desk open, which is really cool. And as much as of a professional as I am, I'm also a huge fanboy. So just walking around the offices there is mind-blowing. Because the funny thing is, this thing we're seeing in the video, they almost have stuff like that in the offices, just kind of in the hallways, which is pretty badass. There is, of course, the need for content so that consumers will buy VR headsets and VR games and VR entertainment and movies and all that sort of thing. And I totally agree that it's going to have to trickle down, as it were. I kind of hate that phrase, trickle down, but in a way, the high-end people, like, I don't expect more than 5% of gamers to get into VR this year. I think the people in this room are a very select group for VR, but in the real world, and I talk to a lot of people in the real world, there's a lot of people that have no clue what's going on in VR. As much hype as there is around it, there's still very, very a large number of gamers, like what people that would consider themselves pretty hardcore gamers, don't really keep up with it. There's a lot that do, but there's also still a lot that don't. So there's a lot of barriers to overcome. People don't see the belief for it, and they've been burned by 3D TVs. They've been burned by 3D movies. There's a few good ones, but most of them suck, right? So why do you spend the extra money to go to the 3D movie? In the same way, it's going to be out there for VR. If it's not amazing, people aren't going to get into it in the same way.